PLENO is a platform that streamlines carbon removal projects. So why carbon market? Next slide, please. So the carbon market is currently broken. A lot of funds and finances are going to not the most impactful carbon removal projects, as you can see in a lot of the scandals, critics, and also the things that are happening in the media. So what is the biggest problem in the market? First, it is actually complex. It takes up to 2 years to get credits or projects certified. Second, it's expensive due to the manual processes and consultancies, costing up to 100K per project. But the biggest problem is the low accuracy. This is due to a lot of the legacy process, which actually resulting in a lot of overestimations happening in the projects. So why blockchain is needed? Very simple, 3 parts. One is data transparency. Second is to avoid double retirement problem. So once a carbon credit is offsetted, it cannot be traded again in the future. But the most exciting use cases is interoperability. So for various use cases, such as staking, NFTs, and other use cases as well. So what about the market? Our vision is to digitize the carbon market. So streamline the process to create transparency and efficiency. And the market is big, but we're focusing on a specific segment of that market, which is the measuring and verifications, which is around 15% of the total market. Next slide. We would like to be an enabler in the ecosystem. So we are acting in the first part, doing feasibility, and a middle part, which is the measuring and verifications. And we are working with many players in the industry, from the investors, registries, rating agencies, and also marketplaces. With that, I'll hand over to Nino to talk more about our solutions.
Thanks. So PLENO aims to be the standard of high-quality carbon removal projects. We break down this goal into 3 propositions, starting on the bottom left. We integrate different data sources into our platform, making it easier for carbon project developers to analyze their projects. Then we enhance the traditional carbon removal calculation and forecasting by providing AI system using machine learning. And lastly, we are developing an auto-validation system where the large language model is used to automate the auditing, verification, and certification processes for the carbon removal. Currently, the first version of our tool is already live. Nothing is better than creating a product that is the result of co-innovation with your potential customers, because we learn their pain points and they are one step closer to get their ultimate solution. Now enjoy the demo. So welcome to our rapid assessment tool, where you can get the insight into your project's geospatial data without the need of site visit. Now we will cover the how-to in 3 simple steps. So first, we either upload or draw our project location. For this demo. We're just going to draw it. Let's say somewhere over here. All right. And then we confirm. Second, we input the details of our project, such as project category, project activities, and also plant species. Now, lastly, just click the button and enjoy our knowledgeable loading screen. But what I want to show you is that we just did it as simple as 1 click away. And we just made 6 weeks of work into less than 1 minute. So what you see here is the result, which is presented on the left sidebar, which covers all the important data points for further analysis of our user. Now, currently, we are going into version 2, where we will provide a report generator and the auto-validation system itself. For that, I think, so as you see here, we have a report generator and also the validation system, or we call the certification pipeline, basically. Now we can go back to the slide. So you might ask, so where is actually the blockchain? So PLENO integrates blockchain to keep transparent track of each stage in the carbon removal process. So we will store the metadata in the blockchain while the bulky data will be still sitting in PLENO database. With this, I'll hand back to Ngurah.
Thanks, Tino. So we have very limited time. I'll just go quickly now on the competitive landscape. So we are focusing on automations to scale this and also enable us to provide low cost to the projects. Next slide. So compared to other players, as I mentioned before, we're targeting all the different features, but still very low complexity and low cost. And on a business model, we have a subscription business model based on a number of projects. This is costing 19 to 79K per year, much cheaper than the current price per projects. As Nino mentioned, currently we're working with pilot projects, so 3 months trials with 5 projects in Asia and Africa. Next slide. We're supported by BFG advisors, but we're also active in various, especially climate accelerator program, to also get advisors to support us in the scientific method. And last slide here, we are currently raising an angel round of 200K for 8% equity to scale up and also build our products. Short introductions about our team. So I have more experience in the sustainability field, and also Nino has more experience on the software engineering and machine learning. So with that, that is presentation for today. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks for that, Nura and Nino. I'll now hand over the time to the judges for any questions.
Brilliant. Thank you for that pitch. Could you explain the ML models more, especially the validation, the auditing, and what kind of accuracy score you have with those?
Yes. So thank you for the questions. So first of all, this is our target for our version 2. So the idea is to develop a machine learning model, which is actually more of LLM, and have them to learn all the requirements from carbon auditors and carbon registries to help our carbon project developers to create a project that will pass the certification processes. So this is not that hard of a, let's say, of a task, since we know currently you can upload a PDF, for example, and actually talk to your PDF due to the development in the large language models or generative AI, let's say. So firstly, maybe does that answer any question? Maybe for the metrics itself, we haven't been able to answer this yet, since I think the availability of large language models is currently quite familiar everywhere. So just in general, let's say it is highly possible to speak to your own PDF, and thus making it even more possible to create the large language models that actually have the knowledge of all the requirements beforehand. So maybe does that answer your question, Andreas?
Yes, to an extent, thank you. Follow-up question is the audit. Are you going to plan to work with someone like PwC or BSI? Have you spoken to anyone in terms of the validation of on-chain audits?
Yeah, so Nino mentions about like the process, but actually we want to be a platform, right? So now we are onboarding the projects. Now the next step, we are onboarding the audit. So I did have talked to several auditors. And now the question is that once we are able to onboard projects, so they'll be willing to also audit them directly. Why? It's also their data before, so they're actually ready.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
One second.
No, please.
Okay. So yeah, actually, yeah, we met a few months ago, and my concern at that time was that actually I could not understand at that point how it is actually fixing the broken carbon credits market, because in order to, if you target projects themselves, so the owners of the land or the owners of the forest, it is still quite challenging for them, for most of them, to get on board. Even if you simplify your platform, like this way, so you did a great job creating a product on the tech side, but it looks still challenging for me to penetrate that market, to find those like landowners and actually onboard them. And like my suggestion was, like actually trying to talk to the corporate, to the big players like the above mentioned by Andreas, like PwC and other big players on the industry. So that maybe because I'm sure they've got like a long list of projects in the queue, right? So they could maybe recommend some smaller players, some smaller projects to you to onboard, so that they can validate your platform and things like that. But as far as I see, you're still like targeting directly like the landlords, landowners, the project owners. What is the traction so far? So what is the current number of the projects you are onboarding? What are your projections for the next quarter?
Yeah, very good point there, Yaroslav. So we actually, I mean, since then, we tried to validate the use case with various different types, right? Not just project developers, but also companies. What we see so far, the early adopters is with the project developers because they have the pain point. So either not just the time, but actually the biggest pain point is the price, because they can actually reduce their cost, not by working with consultants. That is why just in 3 months, so we onboarded 5 pilot projects. So we're working with them directly. We have 20 more in the pipeline as well, in discussions. So in the next quarter, basically our goal in the next 6 months, we would like to be broad, right? This is meaning targeting the companies that you mentioned. We're engaging with bigger companies, for example, South Pole, Climate Partners. For now, we're too small to actually be working with them, which is we need to provide proof of value. But what is interesting as well, to target other types of project, not just one type of project that we show you before, but various types, for example, agricultures, energy, and so on. Because once we build a proof of value in one project, it's easier to move abroad and create a network effect. Does that provide better answers?
Yeah. I just wanted to have heads up on your GTM, whether it was changed or you're still like pursuing the direct businesses that want to sell their carbon credits.